not the side effects, but the characteristics of mental illness and how some people don't know how to adjust and what to do with themselves. And he has massive mood swings, temper tantrums. Can be very sincere when he needs to. There's a very sort of interesting mechanism of sort of pretending that he's okay, which you find a lot in a lot of mental illness, where people deny that they're ill and decide to sort of prove to others that they're fine. And it's in that process that things start to unravel. And so I just paid attention to those characteristics. Of course the anger, of course the mood changes, the violence. These are things that I sort of put into it, but I wasn't very specific about what was wrong with him. I think
which I think definitely made your performance really great.
Thank you very much. But yeah, thank you.
Playing someone who was mentally ill, dealing with sort of that challenge, especially the last few weeks. We just lost someone who was mentally ill, and Robin Williams. Going out on a limb to say that just because of the suicide and the depression. I'm wondering how his death affected you, and if you considered it in any way just because of the connection with the mental illness.
I mean, no, it's completely separate. Just sadness, and I'm going to miss the man. But the good thing about Robin Williams is that you can't think about him without smiling. He brings a smile to his face, even though in his own life he had sadness, and we may not have known that, but he did not share that with us. He gave us a lot of joy. So I'm going to miss that guy and miss his presence in the world. And I think, going back to what I said about people hiding themselves, I think that's to be considered. But rest in peace, man. Yeah.
Hey,
I'm just wondering if,
go ahead, Greg.
quickly, like if your series work on The Wire and Luther, did that really help you as an actor as far as just like working out your muscles from going from film to film, as far as like your endurance, what you can do working with the same cast and crew and whatnot? What's the benefit, I guess?
I mean, when you're on a long-term series, it's a very sort of big acting commitment. It's a long time. You obviously working with a lot of different actors, a lot of directors. You are in the gym, and then when you get to a big film, big films shoot one scene a day. It's a slightly different muscle to use. But yeah, if you've been working on television for a long time like I have, films are actually a luxury. You you walk in and take your time, you really craft. There's no real rush. So yeah, I think there's definitely a massive amount of training, great training that happens in television. When I was in a soap opera, for a year, and when I left the soap opera, my memory was so good. Like I could remember anything you said just like that, because just using that muscle. You got to shoot 5 pages a day as well.
Going back to Mandela, do you feel that perhaps you didn't quite get your due for that film, and perhaps the film itself didn't get the reception it deserved?
I mean, it's perspective, and in South Africa, it was the biggest film. They loved it. It was a very, very emotional time for them. And when I go back to South Africa, it's sort of hailed as a great performance. Thank you very much, and I'm so pleased for that. And actually, that means a lot more to me than accolades in Hollywood, if I'm honest, because this is someone that is real to a lot of people, and they actually really enjoyed the film. So I kind of did get my due where it matters most. But I think also in the scheme of sort of Hollywood's and accolades, that particular year of actors was just incredible. Such amazing performances. What do you say? It was saturated. So there it is.
Now, you're also wearing the title of executive producer here.
Yes.
How involved were you as a producer in this production? And you've also now stepped behind the camera as a director. Will we be seeing more of that?
Well, on No Good Deed, I mean, the truth be told, as an executive, I kind of just helped package it and pull it together. You know what I'm saying? It was like, I want to be a part of it. We can bring some, I chose my director. I kind of helped bring a team together that, made this film. On the back end of the film now being made, I'm sort of also involved in how it gets sort of distributed, what the marketing looks like, and so on. But I'm on the edges, like the nuts and bolts are done by people that do produce it every single day. But essentially, I help get this film made, and that's a really, really fortunate position to be in at the minute. So that's good. And as far as directing is concerned, yeah, I'm loving that. That's going to be more sort of really, Ben Affleck is an amazing sort of director actor. I think someone that I think his career is amazing, and he's really good at making films. Good actor as well, and I'd like to sort of model my next few years doing a bit of that.
As an executive producer, how did you choose? Because you said you chose your director. How did you choose Antoine, like what made you decide to work with him on this particular film? And then I had another question, but I'll remember it later.
Actually, Sam Miller directed this.
Oh, I thought it was Antoine Fuqua. Oh, I'm sorry.
No.
I'm
That's Equalizer.
Yes,
Denzel.
exactly. I know.
So
I'm doing that next week. I apologize. I've got my emails in my head. I know.
Wow.
No.
That's a compliment, though. I love
We're having a
Denzel.
Sam Rubin.
I sure did do that. I'm sorry. How did you pick Sam? Apologies.
Well, Sam and I have worked on Luther quite a bit, which I also co-produce, and so I just love Sam Miller. He's a very good director, good eye for thriller and tension, and this film needed that. And we also wanted to bring a slightly different aesthetic to the film. You know, it's an American film. It has that sort of Friday night popcorn film, but this is quite dark and edgy.
Yeah.
The way we shot it, and we try to make it just feel sort of claustrophobic. And I think Sam does that really well. And yeah, that was what sort of the extent of my sort of executive producing job was. Hey, let me call some directors. Sam. That was it. Yeah.
Just very quickly, as a director, what do you think your biggest strengths will be? Will it be visualizing a scene, shepherding the project, or just collaborating with the actors, or maybe in the cutting room?
Dude, I think honestly, because of my experience as an actor for such a long time, and I've sort of watched each different compartment of the industry, I think all of it. I really love the editing process because that's where you make your film. I'm really into talking to the teams, art direction, costume, and sort of talking about details. And then, of course, with acting, I like actors to just do what they do, but I also like to, if they need to, sort of talk about the psychosis of the characters and all of that. I'm happy to do that. I have a lot to learn, though. In just terms of how to keep a film dynamic looking. That's something I'm learning all the time. But I definitely feel like I can sort of be an all-rounder type of director.
When's the Luther movie starting?
Well,
how's Fatherhood second?
Well, Fatherhood's amazing. Thank you very much. My son's gorgeous, and I love him doing that. And Luther, we're sort of literally. I saw Neil Cross last night at the Emmys, and we are talking. It's coming. It's coming.
Perfect.
Thank you.
We totally didn't even
Thank
ask
you,
about
guys.
working
Great
with
to meet
Taraji.
you all.
I'm like,
See you
that's the
later.
first.
So no time off in your
Yeah.
future.
No.
Thank you.
Thank you.